Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Krystle.
As travel agents with fantastical vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together.
Welcome to episode 57 of Wanderlust and Wishes. This week, we're going to talk about our top tips to tackle the Magic Kingdom. We also have a very special guest on the podcast, my daughter, Ella. She's going to be giving us some commentary as we're going through our tips, and then she also has a couple of tips of her own. But first, we're going to talk about some news.
Test track reopening date is July 22nd. I think we mentioned this last week, but I don't think we set a date.
We didn't have a date last week. The other Walt Disney World news for rides or attractions, Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America, they have announced that they will be closing on July 6th in preparation for the construction on Cars Land. So I think there have been a lot of people that are sad about this. I think people mostly that remember it from their childhood, but neither one of those attractions get used a ton. That was one of the reasons for, I think, selecting that area specifically for, other than obviously it's a large space, but
the concept art for the new stuff looks so fun. I'm so excited. This was a couple weeks ago, but we forgot to ever mention it. Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure was added to Universal Express Pass, which, hallelujah, we kind of heard rumor that this might happen, especially with other things going down. So that's a huge win for Express Pass.
Absolutely. And it was kind of in the middle of all of the Epic Universe stuff, so they kind of snuck it in there.
They're good at that.
Yeah. Also with Universal Orlando, Rip Ride Rocket is closing. They have released an official date that it's closing on August 18th. I think previously they mentioned that it was going to be closing in September, and there wasn't an exact date. It was just more of a time frame. So now they have an exact date. And I've also seen a lot of news that they're actually doing a lot of construction around it. So I think they've already started working on some things as it's still operational. And then once that they shut it down, they'll move on to more construction for that specific ride.
I love Rip Ride Rocket.
Yeah, it's sad.
I went on it like 3 times in one day.
Yeah.
One time.
It's sad that it's going away. I hope that whatever they put there is going to be like really, really good because
Better.
I'm sad that it's leaving as well.
Royal Caribbean announced that they're going to have 3 ships, the Ovation, the Harmony, and Liberty of the Seas. Each will receive upgrades in 2026 as part of Royal Caribbean's $1 billion Royal Amplification Initiative. That's good. They need it. It's time.
Yeah. And this is something they've been doing for several years. I think it's been close to maybe 6 or 7 years. They've been kind of going through some of their older ships that need a little TLC. So these are they're great ships, and giving them some updates is awesome. The last thing I just wanted to touch on, just because it's been in the news and there's been a lot of mixed reviews. Actually, it's not a whole lot of mixed reviews. I think it's mostly people are upset that Carnival Cruise Line announced that they're changing their rewards program so that it's not based on how many times you cruise, but based on a point system. I completely understand why they're doing it, but I also understand the people that have been cruising with Carnival and have been trying to get to a certain status. And now it's going to be a lot harder for them to get to that point. Based on the letter that was sent out from, I think that was the CEO of Carnival, basically that there's way too many people on their cruises that are at the top tier, which doesn't allow them to fully provide the benefits that you should be getting at that tier to those that have it. For that reason, they're trying to kind of spread it out a little bit more, really, I guess, slow it down a little bit.
We did recently see this with Disney, though, because they added Pearl because there were too many people that were the top status.
Yep.
And organized the number. So it happens, especially when you've been around for so long.
Yeah.
And if you have dedicated cruisers,
Agree.
You can't have half your ship being your top tier people.
Okay. So are you ready to dive into our tips?
Yes, there are a lot of them. Magic Kingdom, there's a lot to tackle. But I think we picked some of our best and top tips. let's start with fireworks and evening strategies at Magic Kingdom. Do you want to start us off, Julie?
Sure. I think you guys have probably realized so far with, those that have been listening for a while, you've realized that I tend to want to pay for conveniences because I think it's worth it. So for me, I feel like if you have the extra money to book a fireworks dessert party at Magic Kingdom, it is well worth the cost. I think the cost is worth it, even if you didn't get the desserts and the drinks with it, because they have a very specific spot where you can go out and sit in front of the castle. You don't have to fight the crowds. And that is something that, can get, very frustrating because usually they're fighting over, where to stand, and cast members are constantly trying to get people inside the taped line that they have. So not having to do all of that and deal with it, I love it.
Have we done that before?
Yes. We've done it.
Dessert, the chocolate strawberries.
We've done it twice. But you were younger, so you may not remember.
It was in a little place, and there's it's kind of like a little buffet with desserts in it.
Yes.
It was at night.
Yes, it's right. It's with the fireworks. Silly. But yes, there's desserts. There's little trays or buffet of desserts set out. You also have drinks. There's some alcoholic drinks. I think they have champagne and things like that that's available. But then they take you out to that specific spot, and you don't have to fight people to get in front of the castle. It's nice. The other thing, and I think this is kind of also in line with something that Krystle's going to touch on, but just in general, if you are not necessarily a fireworks person and you would rather be on a ride instead of watch the fireworks, go get on rides. If you want to get on rides, that's a really, really good time because a huge, huge crowd of people are in front of the castle watching the fireworks. And this is an opportunity for you to be able to get on some of the rides that may have had a longer wait. It makes it so much easier to go, and you might be able to get on them multiple times if you get in line fast enough as people are starting to walk towards the fireworks or towards the crowded area.
I would say stay after the fireworks. Unlike other parks, Magic Kingdom doesn't shut down the minute the fireworks end, like Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So the crowds thin out, people thinking that the park is closing. So it's a great time for lower waits and peaceful strolls. And then, like Julie said, you have until, if the park closes at 10, you have until 9:59 to get into line. So definitely hit up your top tier ride right then. They're not going to kick you out as long as you're in line.
I mean, it is like a mass exodus going out of the parks. It's insane. You can get trampled if you're not careful. So by the time you get out of the parks, because of all the crowds, sometimes it's better to just stay and stick it out for a few minutes and get on some rides. And you may get back to your room at the same time that you would have if you had tried to leave with everybody else anyway, because it's such a huge crowd of people leaving.
Imagine trying to get on the buses after that.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Is that when they're super crowded? Oh, because there's a lot of people.
Yes. Yeah. Usually the entire area where you form a line is full of people, and you have to wait on several buses to come through. It's no fun. And if you're on the monorail or going across to the ferry, unless you almost run, you always are going to have to wait several times for them to come through. So
is that why we were running in the rain that one time? Or is that because it was raining?
Probably raining. Okay. Especially during the summer, staying cool and hydrated is so important. So one of the things that you can do is bring in a water bottle, a refillable water bottle. This is not necessarily specific to Magic Kingdom, but it's still a really good hack to bring in your own water bottle. They have several water refill stations, and you can get free water at all the quick service restaurants. It's just a good idea to do that. I've mentioned this little spot before when we talked about, I think, just food and quick service in other episodes. Liberty Square Market is a spot that we stop at all the time. It's one of I think it might be the only really kind of quick service type, kiosk type spot that offers fresh fruit. They also have those little Baby Bell cheeses that you can grab. I get those sometimes because it's an easy snack for me to have some protein and it's gluten-free. They also have slushies that are great for cooling off. And typically we get at least 2 or 3 slushies. And usually I steal from Lena or Ella. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't they have a pickle there too? Is that where you can find one of the big pickles?
I think they do.
You can also look at the birds there.
Yes. They have
They
these.
like to eat your food, though.
They're very interested in your food, and they come right up to your table and they hang out right there. I don't know what the type of bird is called. I might have to look it up. But it's a pretty large bird. It's not a flamingo, but they have long, skinny legs and a pretty long beak.
Another thing for hot days is to take advantage of the Casey Jr. Splash and Soak station right over there by Dumbo. So I always pack like an extra pair of clothes for the kids because it's a great way to cool off, or just go on Tiana's for the big kids. Next, we're going to talk about weather and rainy day things because 9 days out of 10, you're getting caught on a rainstorm.
Absolutely. Especially over the summer. I have a weather app that I use while I'm there that it's called, I think it's just called Radar.
My Radar, it's scary accurate.
Yeah.
Julie turned me on to it and I use it all the time now, and it'll be like, rain starting in 12 minutes and like on the dot it starts. So
it lets you know it's coming, and it tells you, I think it also tells you if there's lightning in the area. So like if you need to like get somewhere that's covered, it has saved us multiple times where it's said rain is starting in like 10 minutes or whatever, and we'll run to a spot. This is an indoor spot, whether it's quick service or an attraction or whatever, so that we don't have to worry about getting, because once it starts raining, everybody runs for cover. And so if you can get ahead of that, it's awesome. One of the better places to be when it starts raining is either Tomorrowland or Fantasyland. And that's just because there's more indoor ride options. Yeah. And they also have indoor dining spots like Cosmic Rays or Pinocchio, Village House. They also Gaston's Tavern. Like I know for sure that once we ran to Gaston's Tavern and got a spot, and it started raining like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 minutes later, like pouring, and everybody was trying to find a spot, and we already had a table, and so we were just like, we have a spot.
Did we even eat that time?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think you got.
I feel like I got like a bread.
You did. I think you got maybe a chocolate croissant or something. And then the other thing is Frontierland's not open during early park hours, but if you're there after early park hours, or if you are staying off site and you just get there right when regular park hours start in Frontierland, because first of all, some of these rides also have longer waits later. The later it gets, but also because Big Thunder Mountain, which I know it's closed right now, but in the future when it reopens, and then Tiana's, because they're outdoors, they often close during the afternoon storms. When it lightnings, a lot of the rides close. So it just helps to go ahead and go get on those early. And if you get on them later, it's just bonus, but it helps to make sure that you're able to get those rides in if you get there early.
All right, let's move on to park timing, entry, and crowd avoidance.
If you are staying at a Disney resort, and as you know, Krystle and I always recommend that because of the benefits of staying on property, you can take advantage of early entry, which is 30 minutes prior to the park opening, typical opening time. Fantasyland and Tomorrowland are open in Magic Kingdom, so you want to take advantage of some of the rides that might have longer waits if you're there or once the crowds get there. So Peter Pan or Space Mountain would be top picks for me. We usually do a Lightning Lane single pass for Seven Dwarfs just because I just think it's worth it to do that. And then you can use your early entry time to get on one of the other rides. If you like Tron, and that's a priority, it's not open during early entry, but you can go ahead and get in line. And it helps you, start to get a head start on that ride if you want to get on it. I'm not a big fan of Tron just because I think it's too short and the line is too long, but that's a good option though.
For Magic Kingdom specifically, check the park hours closely and not just like a week or two out. Like like the day before. They like to change sporadically and often. And then events like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, the Christmas party, after hours, they affect the opening and closing times. So just make sure you double check and you know what time things open and what time things close, because it's never the same.
Yeah, completely agree. There, and you can check park hours on the app. If you're staying on site, the TV also has park hours listed. And then you can also use Ask Disney, the little like Amazon type thing that's in your room. It also will tell you, as long as you don't unplug it, like an individual that's sitting next to me did one time, and then it lost connection to the Wi-Fi, and then we reconnected it. And of course it didn't work. You unplugged the Ask Disney at Pop Century.
What is that?
The Amazon Alexa for Disney resorts.
I'm not even surprised. Of course I did.
You unplugged it and moved it because you didn't like where it was. But because you unplugged it.
I remember that.
Yeah, you unplugged it and then it lost connection, obviously, to the Wi-Fi. And we didn't know what the Wi-Fi password was or how to connect it. So we just didn't use it. But so it's important. Just pro tip, if you're staying in a Disney resort, you can ask it questions. Like, hey Disney, what are the park hours for Magic Kingdom tomorrow? It will do that for you.
Oh, it's so easy to search that up.
Very true. Yes, you can use the app or you can use the TV, but it's just another option.
Wait, can it also play music?
Yes, Disney music.
Well, it doesn't play other music.
Why would it play other music when you're at Disney World?
I was just asking. Like,
Okay.
does it play like other music? No,
I don't think so. Disney music.
That's fun.
One of the things about Magic Kingdom, just because it is obviously like super popular, a lot of times whenever people are coming just for the weekend or just for like a day or two, they'll go to Magic Kingdom because that's what they associate with Walt Disney World because of the castle and everything. So if you're able to avoid a weekend day, especially Saturday, I understand if that's your day, then you go and have fun and do what you can. But it tends to be more crowded on Saturdays and just over the weekend in general. You also have the local crowd that would maybe be more likely to be there on the weekends. Yes, Ella?
I like to use like a brick day or like just like a resort day or like a Disney Springs day on the weekends to like avoid the Saturday, you know?
Yeah, that's a good tip for sure.
It's not really Magic Kingdom, but whatever.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Avoiding Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, avoid it. Go stay at the pool all day so you avoid crowds.
Something else that a lot of people don't realize is you should skip the rideshare drop off for Magic Kingdom. Rideshares like Uber and Lyft have to drop off at the Ticket and Transportation Center, not at the front gates. But if you use resort transportation like a bus, the monorail, if you're staying on the monorail loop or a minivan, you can access the front gates. So we have minivans to the front gates over trying to Uber.
And just a shout out to the minivan. It's amazing. If you can.
They're so cute.
They are so cute. And they have car seats, which is amazing.
Yeah, they're amazing. And they have snacks and they have iPads.
Snacks?
Yeah.
iPad?
They supply you with phone cords if you need to charge up. Like,
yeah,
it's fresh AC.
Mm-hmm. Oh. We might use it next time we go, just so you can see what it's like.
We should.
Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. And then, kind of going back to Krystle was mentioning the park hours due to events, but another thing that's kind of a hack for Magic Kingdom, if you're okay with leaving a little early or missing fireworks, maybe if you have multiple days at Magic Kingdom and you're good with one of them being a party day, because on party days you do have to leave earlier and you don't get to stay for fireworks, the parks are a lot less busy. We experienced this on our trip last October. We went on a day that was a party day and we knew that we were going to leave early and we were fine. It was actually the day, and if you guys have listened for a while, that I complained that Hollywood Studios I was not happy. So we actually switched like in the middle of the day and went over to Magic Kingdom at like the middle, like at like noon or 1 o'clock or something like that, because we got so much done in like 4 or 5 hours compared to what we were able to do even at Hollywood Studios for that morning. And it was because it was a party day. And that is basically August through the end of the year, through the end of December. They have Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Very Merry Christmas Party is August through December, for most of December.
There's so many people like coming like into Magic Kingdom with like costumes on that
Yes.
day.
Yes. Whenever there's a party night. Yeah, because they can come in at 4:00. So they started coming in around 4. And I think we realized you started to get busy when we left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just like see them in their crazy costumes.
They weren't crazy.
Some of them were. They really dress up because it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, right?
Well, I don't know if it'd be once in a lifetime. Maybe for
Well,
that person
unless
individually.
you have like mega money.
To go all the time and every
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
Julie, do you want to tell us about food?
Mobile ordering is not necessarily specific to Magic Kingdom, but there are a couple of, at least from my perspective, kind of some must-dos or things that you can use mobile ordering and avoid some hangry meltdowns amongst children and adults alike.
Who are you talking about?
Well, your sister, she gets pretty mean when she's angry. Yeah, it's whenever you can kind of tell that Lena is getting hungry, and it is very important that you get food in her as quickly as possible. So I have a couple of things that I'll, just recommend. So we mentioned Gaston's Tavern. They have the giant cinnamon roll there, and you can do a mobile order, and it's probably enough to share between 2 people. It's a great breakfast option. And then I love LaFood's brew. It's so good. I love a good slushie, and an apple slushie to me or apple juice slushie is the best. We talked about Sleepy Hollow last week, that the Nutella waffle is back. Going to get that Nutella waffle or the spicy chicken waffle option, they're really not a bad price. So again, to keep people from getting super hangry. Krystle's favorite, the spring rolls at the Adventureland cart. I can't have those, but they're very popular, and I think they're perfect for if you just need a snack to get you through for like a few hours or if you need a snack to, keep you not, from not getting hangry until you have a meal. They're a good option.
You just cannot mobile order them.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's one option that you can't mobile order. Everything else on here you can. We love the loaded tater tots. Yeah, I don't know.
Especially when you get bacon. The bacon.
Yeah. At Friar's Nook, they're really good and very filling. Like there's enough of them. You can really share them. I feel like you can share them. Ella might disagree, but
you can get the tater tots and then you can go over and ride the carousel and then you can pull the sword.
Right. Yeah.
We did that. Calder did that. He pulled the sword.
He pulled it?
He pulled it.
It came out?
It came out.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was possible.
We haven't ever been able to do that, but hopefully one day.
What's the trick?
It's Disney magic.
Yeah, it just picks who wants to pick, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes, people that have tried for a long time and they've never been able to do it, they've been able to do it. And then sometimes people go over there and try it the first time and they get it. So, and then last but not least, and actually this one, I don't think you can't mobile order at Aloha Isle, but I think you can at the
Sunshine Tree Terrace.
Sunshine Tree Terrace.
So look at the menus because it depends on which flavor you want and where it's located.
If all possible, never skip your Dole Whip. You should. What's your favorite one?
The swirl.
The swirl?
Yeah.
The pineapple and coconut swirl?
Coconut, yeah.
Yeah. And you also, you usually eat my cake pop?
No, Lena eats it.
Oh, is it Lena? Okay.
And
from the Tropical Serenade.
To the tiki room.
Exactly. Love the tiki room. See, I passed that on to my children. It's hilarious.
The tiki. No, it's going to be stuck in my head now.
Okay, so moving on to park planning and navigation.
I asked John his top tip for Magic Kingdom, and he says go land by land. And I'd have to agree. This, of all parks, you need to have some sort of game plan because it's massive. So get familiar with the layout and plan a rough route so you're just not crisscrossing and zigzagging back and forth across the park. Another thing is this could easily be a 2-day park, especially if you want to slow down and enjoy, or if you have kids and character experiences are a priority, maybe have a day where you're waiting in line for characters, a day with rides, or 2 days of both. So could easily be a 2-day.
100% agree. I think your day one, obviously you make a plan and then you get done what you can. And then if there's something that happens where, you can't, ride closes or something where you can't get on that ride, then you move that to your next day, to your plan for the next day, and just move on, and everybody still has a fun day. I agree. It definitely helps where you don't feel so rushed around, because Magic Kingdom has the most attractions of all the parks, and it's very hard to get all of it done in a day.
If you need help getting it done in a day, let's talk about Lightning Lane strategies. Of all parks, this is the one that we prioritize, Lightning Lane Multipass. I think it's the must, especially with kids. And do not discount the tier 2 rides like Winnie the Pooh, Under the Sea. They tend to, even Buzz, they tend to push out and sell out quicker in the day. So do not underestimate it.
I agree. I think Multipass is essential for Magic Kingdom. And I mentioned it earlier, but I think using a single pass for Seven Dwarfs, I have no desire to wait for 2 hours. I love that ride, but I'm not waiting for 2 hours. So I would rather just purchase the single pass for that. I'm not most likely going to purchase a single pass for Tron, but if I am going to ride Tron, I am going to use the single pass if that's something that my family decides they want to do.
Tron was interesting. You thought the line was over and then it would just keep going into different rooms.
Yeah, that was because that was during the virtual queue, and we were also there the week after Christmas, which is the busiest week of the entire year. So, and there really was because it was virtual queue and there was no standby line. There was absolutely no way for us to know how long the line was or how much time we had left. And it did feel like every time we felt like we were almost there, we went into a new room. And we're like, oh my gosh, are you freaking kidding me?
Like 2 hours.
It was a very, yes.
Our friend bought like 2 things of food and 2 ice creams in like the 2 hours that we were waiting in the line.
Yeah. And Rob and Lena, they got food, and I think they rode like 2 or 3 rides while we were waiting. It was great.
The Tron was like half the time of the other rides. Like,
I don't think it was even less than that. It's like 30 seconds long or something. It's crazy. Okay. So moving on to some kid-friendly tips. And of course, this is Krystle's, she's the master of these. So what do you got?
This, of all 4 parks, is the best for littles. There are 14 rides that have no height requirement, which is massive. You can do 1 an hour and still have more to do. It also has a lot of good indoor shows like Monsters, Inc. Laugh 4, Country Bear, Jamboree, PhilharMagic for some dark, quiet, well, not necessarily quiet, but air-conditioned corners. And then there's also a lot of built-in break spots. So the playground in the Dumbo Queue, the Swiss Family Tree Playhouse, Casey Jr. Splash and Soak Station, Tom Sawyer Island, rest in peace for the next. So you only have that for the next month, but
not even. It's like a couple of weeks because I think it's July 6th. So
throw that out there. So
gotta use it fast.
Are they getting rid of Country Bear Jamboree?
No, they just redid it.
Oh.
Muppets. Yeah, it's gone.
Hollywood Studios.
It closed. Yeah, no. We got to see it. We got to see it before in October last year.
No,
so
Muppet.
yeah,
I'm
it's gone.
Crying.
Oh, don't cry. It's okay. That's where the Monsters Inc.'s gonna go. I know. It's sad.
I would rather have my Muppets.
Oh, well, that's how a lot of people feel. Okay, so some other benefits, or really very specific to Magic Kingdom, they do have a lot of princess and character experiences there.
Yes, if you have a princess lover, do not discount Magic Kingdom. You have dining at Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest. You have Bippity Boppity Boutique. You can meet princesses at Princess Fairy Tale Hall, Ariel's Grotto, Enchanted Tales with Belle. Sometimes you can see Jasmine run around over by the flying carpets. There's the Festival Fantasy Parade where you can see all of them. The Tangled Photo Spot, Tiana's Bio Adventure. There's just so many princess-focused things. But because I have a boy, I'd also say don't just think it's for princesses. And there's a lot of boy things too. Tron, Buzz Lightyear, Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates Adventure, the little scavenger hunt thing. That's amazing. The baseball theming, Casey's Corner, Jungle Cruise, the dad jokes. There's so many great boy things too. So don't just think it's the princess park.
I think Stitch also comes out sometimes.
Yes, Stitch is a great guy thing. Stitch is just not my favorite. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Buzz Lightyear and Stitch come out at the little Tomorrowland spot. It's by Space Mountain. Yeah. And I do want to shout out, Krystle mentioned the Pirates Adventure. That is something that's very unique to Magic Kingdom, and something that you can do it's very creative and different. And if you have a kiddo that's not necessarily super excited to go on a lot of rides, it's something fun that they can do and still feel like they get to experience Magic Kingdom.
You have a handful of different pirate maps and adventures that you go seek out. And Calder still has his pirate maps and still pulls them out and still looks for buried treasure, even though we're not at Magic Kingdom.
Ew. I love it. Okay, so moving on to shopping and souvenirs. We love some Disney merch.
Yes. And I feel like Magic Kingdom is a great place for unique souvenirs. I love the custom silhouettes. I've done that for each of my kids. You can also do pets. There are a couple places that you can get hand painted parasols, which are like the umbrellas. You can get celebration buttons. If you go to Yield Christmas Shop, you can personalize ears and ornaments. So it's just there's some great hidden gems.
Agree. And I think because, kind of like we've talked about, Magic Kingdom has so many attractions as well, that some of these things they just get missed because you're so busy trying to get on the attractions. And this is really a good reason to make Magic Kingdom, more than one day, so that you can maybe get in a couple of these different things. Ellie, you had a couple of things to say about souvenirs.
So you should get a big stuffed animal, or any stuffed animal. Like if you're like driving, it's like worth it because you can't really like put it in the little thing. Like it would have to be your carry-on.
Oh yeah, you can't put it in the overhead bin.
Well, I guess it would have to be your carry-on unless you can fit it in your suitcase.
Have you got a big stuffy at Magic Kingdom, Ella?
Maybe.
Which one?
Oh gosh, I have a Sully.
I was gonna say, don't you have like a big Sully?
Mm-hmm. It's right there.
I'm pretty sure you have.
And I have an Eeyore.
A big Eeyore. I'm trying to think. I don't remember if you got that in the Winnie the Pooh shop that's next to the ride. But yeah, anytime we go into the...
That's how in Disney Springs.
Not Eeyore.
Really?
We got it at Winnie the Pooh shop.
It was in the Winnie the Pooh, like after the ride. And then also, a souvenir, you should get a popcorn bucket. Like if there's like a weird one or like a unique one, you gotta get it. We have a little collection of popcorn buckets.
Yeah.
Especially Halloween ones.
I might be obsessed with them.
That's okay. You mentioned the Winnie the Pooh gift shop, and if you've ever heard of the German Stief teddy bear brand, they're like very high quality, very adorable, soft little. They have Tigger, Pooh, and Eeyore of the Stief brand in that store, and we have bought them there, and they're so cute, and they're such high quality, and they don't fall apart like other brands can.
Anytime we go into the shops after the rides or the Emporium, we almost always come out with some type of stuffy, even though Rob says no more stuffies every single time we go. It's never tends to follow through with that. But yeah, the magic I've talked about on previous episodes how much my family loves popcorn, and so getting a popcorn bucket is well worth it for us, and we love to refill them. It's worth it for us. And I think the last time we were there, I came back with the Mickey Nutcracker popcorn bucket.
Sometimes you have to be careful though, because you can get your hands stuck in there.
Well,
shake it a little.
Well, you don't want to put your hand that far down in there.
Well, then how am I supposed to get the popcorn?
Okay, so moving on to ride tips. Ella, you have something?
If you want to go on like Space Mountain, you might want to go to the left because the right is slow and not fun and boring.
What did you put in the notes? You said it was lame.
It was worse and slower and lame. And actually, one time it was my first time on Space Mountain, and my mother had told me it was gonna be like fun and like exciting. And after I was in front of her and I looked back and I was like, "Is that it?" And it wasn't fun.
Yeah, she did, because we got the wrong track. So the next time we were able to get on the right track, and it's much better. So you kind of have to request it, because depending on the way that they separate you when you're coming into the line, they send you to one or the other. And if you ask very nicely, you can ask for the alpha track. And that track is the one that it's a little bit longer and has just more dips, and it's just more fun.
I don't understand why there's two different ones.
I don't understand why they made them differently either. I'm guessing it has something to do with the construction and how they fit into the building. But yeah.
But like, also, shouldn't they should tell you like this side is slower and this side is faster.
They don't think people are going to pick up on it, but there are people
I
who are
did,
frequenters.
so.
Yes. Well, and usually they will divide you like left or right by odd or even. So whatever they decide for the day. So don't feel like, oh, I'm just going to chance it, because you probably guess wrong every single time.
Yeah. So if you can ask nicely. If it's like super crowded, they may not, just because.
If it's super crowded, I don't want to go on it because I'm not going on the slow side.
You're not going to risk it. Yeah.
I'm not going on the slow side.
Okay.
John's other tip he wanted me to share is that this is the best park for napping. He says he always has the best naps in Carousel of Progress because it's dark and cool and a guaranteed 20 minutes. The People Mover, he loves napping. I don't know how you can nap on the People Mover, though.
I don't either.
Hall of Presidents. And then he said the Tiki Room is too loud to nap, but I've also seen him nap in Tiki Room. So find a dark corner and find a dark show and have a good 10-minute nap.
I'm offended by Tiki Room and People Mover. So
I fell asleep in the bear, that one. Yeah.
Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah. I fell asleep in that one time. Maybe it was Muppets. It was either Muppets or Country Bear Jamboree. They're like two different things, but like I definitely fell asleep in one because I had glasses on, I think.
Well, yeah.
PhilharMagic too. You could easily put your glasses on and fall asleep.
Yeah. And I fell asleep.
Yeah. If you had glasses on, then that was Muppets, because you don't wear any glasses in Country Bear. You just got teary-eyed because Muppets was going away, and now you just said you fell asleep.
Peaceful. Well, Muppets was my childhood.
I know. That's why people get so upset when things leave. Like, even if it's not something that they...
Well, aren't they, like, older?
Muppets?
No, like, the people saying that. Like, how's that their childhood?
Well, I think it depends.
Muppets have been around forever.
Yeah, Muppets have been around a long time.
It depends on your parents.
Yes.
It was my dad's childhood.
Yes.
So that he made it my childhood.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So not a lot of children are sad about it.
Probably not. And like things like we were just talking about, like the Tom Sawyer's Island and the Rivers of America, even though not a ton of people go on that anymore because, they're not the most popular rides, but people that have been going to Magic Kingdom since they were a kid, and they're, in their 40s or 50s or 60s, like that's sad to them. That was a memory that they had. What?
Oh, Mimi.
Yes.
I said he was going in their 60s. Mimi. She's going.
And so is Papa.
Yeah.
But I don't think that either one of them have gotten on the boat or gone over. Yeah, Rivers of America. Yeah, that's going.
Which one is that?
That's the steamboat. That's right across.
Oh, wait, they're taking that away? The big one that I took a nap in, like the little cabin thing? It had a little couch and it was like all the way around.
Yeah.
It was cool. And it was like by that parade that had like the princesses.
Yes. Well,
there's a lot of parades with princesses.
Well, we got off of it and watched the Festival of Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's right across from the Liberty Marketplace.
Yeah.
Yes. That's going away for the Cars Land. They're building Cars Land.
Cars?
Yes.
Wait, like Cars, like the movie Cars, or like just like Cars, like
Cars Land, like
Oh, that
they
makes
have in like
sense.
we saw at Disney California Adventure. Hopefully they'll have they're gonna have something kind of similar. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but
Are they gonna have another racetrack like into Tomorrowland?
No, it's going to be
No?
more like off-road.
Oh, so it's gonna be like test track?
No, more like ATV, Jeep kind of
Oh,
thing.
that's Cars?
where that's the way they're gonna make it like a Cars, like the cars that are on the Cars movies, but it's gonna be more of an off-road experience and not
Like they're going through the national parks kind of thing.
Oh. So like dirt biking but on a car.
All right. My littles also wanted to share. They each have a tip to share or two. Just so you know, Reese is 3, Harper is 6, and Calder is 9. I have no idea what they're going to say. So this is going to be interesting. So without further ado,
Reese, what tips do you have for Magic Kingdom?
I like Sandy.
You like Cindy? Okay, so you would want to go see Cinderella. That would be your
Yeah.
top priority.
go visit Cindy.
Yeah,
Say visit Cinderella.
I need to go visit Cinderella.
Okay. Is there any other? Do you have any other favorite rides that you would say like?
I like Pooh Bear
Yes,
ride.
yes, I remember that. So Pooh Bear is a priority at Magic Kingdom. Do you have any favorite snacks? That's your like you have to get at Magic Kingdom. Can you think about?
Yeah,
What do you-
Okay.
I like to eat churros.
You like to eat churros.
Wrong park.
Yeah. I think that might be at Disneyland and not Magic Kingdom, but that's okay.
All right. Harper, what are your tips for Magic Kingdom?
Get a first time pin.
The celebration button. That's a good tip. Do you have a favorite ride that you like to do when we are at Magic Kingdom?
Yes. Pooh Bear too.
Okay.
Pooh Bear is a priority. What about a snack?
Mickey bars.
Mickey
yeah.
bars.
Mickey
Yeah.
bars are a must. That's for sure.
Right. Thank you, Harper.
What's up?
What's your top tips for going to Magic Kingdom?
Well, in Tron, there's like these motorcycles, like
They have like a special car.
yeah, like 2 cars or 2 people could ride on. Mom was on one of them. If you have like a young child with you, like
Okay.
and your child can, that means you have to leave your child, and you can go in the car while your child goes on the motorcycle. That's what.
That's what
Okay.
we did. He
Yeah.
sat on the motorcycle in front of me. What is your favorite ride at Magic Kingdom?
Well, there's a lot. Well, Tron, basically, it's just like one of my favorite things in the world. It's like motorcycles. I'm a car van.
Okay.
What about, are there any snacks or food that you have to eat while we're there?
There's this Dole Whip you can just order.
Okay. Do you like regular pineapple flavor? Is that your favorite?
It's the pineapple ice cream.
Oh yeah, the ice cream.
All right. Thank you, Calder.
Okay. Thank you so much, kiddos. We appreciate your input. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We hope that these tips help you out on your next trip. If you would like help with your next trip and would like to incorporate tips for all the different parks, we would love to help you. Just send us a DM. We hope you all have a fantastic week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.